Hello, my name is Ken Calhoun, and I'm here today to share my first Descript video. So hang in there while I try to produce something helpful. And the topic is AI-driven LinkedIn post analysis. This takes advantage of a couple of things. One is that LLMs are increasingly good at capturing information from images and data, and that if we are very specific in telling the LLM what it is we want it to do, we can come up with some really interesting analysis. And it overcomes a challenge that Simon Willison and others have pointed out, which is that many sites are making it difficult to extract data or extract it in an easy, systematic way. The insight is that as long as you can capture it on video, you can use the LLM to process it and glean insights. So that's what we're going to do today. And I recently had a call with a LinkedIn expert, and I wanted to quickly analyze my own posting and performance to inform that call and to focus my discussion with him. So it turned out quite well and was very efficient in terms of giving me the insights that I was looking for. So ultimately, we're going to get to this. This is what we're going to be creating, which is a gem in Gemini. And it's basically a little app that we're going to create that's going to be quite good at doing this task. Well, let's start at the beginning. So in the beginning, we are posting on LinkedIn, and we can go to our posts and we can see interesting information. We can go and see, like, when did the post happen? Was there an image? What are the first few lines of the post? How many people liked it? How many comments? How many reposts did we have? How many impressions did we get? And if we kind of scroll through that, we can just see the relative performance. Well, we can also just capture that on video. And so if we, on the Mac, hit Command-Shift-5, we get to this screen capture screen tool, right? And we can go record a portion, and we can record that. And so we can kind of slowly just scroll through this. Again, the LLM's going to have to interpret it, so you got to make sure that it's able to see all the information and create a video that we're then going to feed into the LLM. And let's find that video. So there's the video. I did a small one that we could use for testing purposes, but it's got a few different posts in it. So when we look at let me get back to the gem. When we're creating this gem, we're going to see this screen. And what we fill in, the name, straightforward, the description, what this thing does, that ends up printing out over here. So if others are using it or you're using it yourself, you can remind yourself how it works and what you're supposed to do. And then you have these detailed instructions, right? So this is a hard way to look at it, but I've put it into a PDF. And let me spend a few minutes walking through this. This is like a typical system prompt that you would create for any LLM where you're trying to get it to do something very specific. You're giving it a role. You're telling it what kind of input it's going to get. In this case, it's the video. I found, as I iterated through this, it was quite helpful to tell the LLM what it was seeing. So, for example, I found that I needed to explain my name's going to be first, there's going to be a tagline, there's going to be this visit my website thing. But on the fourth line, here's some information about time since the video capture when the post ran. The next three lines are the first three lines of text from the video. We then get down to, then I describe whether it's a direct post. In this case, it is, right? There's no image here, but it's a post by me versus this, which is a repost. And we can tell because there's somebody else's name that comes immediately below line 7. And so I describe that because I want to know that. I want to know how well are posts performing versus reposts. I then tell it, where the likes are in a post. There's one like, that wasn't a great post, but here's 7 likes. And I explain that sometimes there's a name and then there's a number, and it needs to add those two together. Comments on the side as well. I should add in reposts as part of this as well. And then at the bottom, it's going to see the number of impressions. So I'm kind of telling the LLM what to look for and how to think about the data. And then in terms of what comes out, being very specific, I want, an index like post 1, post 2. Give me a really quick summary so I can scan and understand what it was about. Is there an image or not? True or false? Is it a post or is it a repost? How long ago did I post it? How many impressions did I get? How many likes? How many comments? Again, I should add in reposts, the type of post that it was. Now come on to that in a second. And then actually pull the text that you can see. And, a lot of times there's not that much. So one thing is, I post in different ways. So sometimes I'm talking about my work with clients, and these are work product examples or frameworks or that sort of thing. Another thing that I post a fair amount about are other reports or other news that comes out. And what I realized was it doesn't have a lot of information to work off of here. There's a few lines of text and sometimes there's an image to work with. So how can it interpret that? Well, if I said I or we, then that's something that I've done, right? And typically I don't describe specifically who the company is. So if I do, it's more likely in this category where I will cite for attribution, who came up with the study or who did the study and so forth. There's some other categories of posts that I have as well. So that is really, it's an extensive set of instructions, but quite important to tell the LLM what it's seeing and then what it's supposed to output. So from there, we cut and paste those instructions into our gem, and we're ready to roll. So here I'm going to actually upload the file. I've got this short test video that we can run. I'm going to run it in Thinking with Pro mode right now because it's a somewhat complex task. I haven't actually tried it in fast mode, but it might do just as well. You can experiment with that. In fact, why don't we do that? We'll just run it that way and it'll go faster anyway. And so now the video is uploaded. The gem is analyzing it. That was very fast. So that's cool. Now, so what do we have? We have this code snippet. This is in a CSV format. Each column is separated by a comma. We can copy and paste that. We can then go here. This is Google Sheets. We can split the text into columns, and now we've got the data split out. And I can already tell this is not as good as Pro. I did run it before and on Pro, so I think that's a good lesson already that Pro is probably what you need to run. And so we can see we've got all this information that we asked for. I did spot check it. It's accurate. It even did pretty well on the type of post. Like these two were definitely work product. This was reporting on some news. This was reporting on some news, work product, et cetera. This one actually has nothing to do with AI. It was something about parenting, which I thought was good. And it got landed in other, which was great. And so now we've got this information. We could be analyzing it. Another step, which I did for the preparation of the call, was I said, like, how many total work product posts do I have? How many commentaries do I have? What's the average performance in terms of impression, likes, comments? Did images make a difference or not? And so then I can start to actually be smart about how I'm thinking about my strategy around posting. So if you step back here, you could use this in a variety of ways. Like another way that I'm using it is I'm going to look at all my newsletter subscribers. That's another list that works exactly the same way on LinkedIn. So do I really want to copy down hundreds of subscribers? No, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to scroll through that, capture those names. I've used it for an online course that I was taking, and I wanted to network with the people who were on that course. Same idea. Use the video capture, instruct the LLM what to do, and then extract that data, and then be able to move on to the next step. I hope you found that helpful. feel free to reach out if you want more information. Thanks. Bye.